Hi, I am here today. Welcome. I am with the PayJustNow team, and as part of Women's Month, they are connecting with a selection of homegrown brands and the powerhouse woman behind them. My name is Carey, and I am sitting with Xan Fraser today from BENA. And yeah, I just wanted to start with your story. I think, can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Carey. So I started BENA around 7 years ago. It wasn't with the intention of actually growing a big company. It was more for a need of I'd had kids and they didn't need me so much anymore. And I've always been a bit of like a go-getter type of person, and I was getting bored. And my little girl had no PJs. I couldn't find PJs for my little girl who didn't have silly cartoons on, and I'm quite a classic type of person. So I thought, well, why not start like the cute little piped PJs, the button up. And it all started there. My sister, who I was working with my sister at the time, we started BENA together. And her mother-in-law has been in the seamstress industry and owned clothing companies for years and years and years. So she's like a Bible of knowledge. And she started collaborating with us, and we were making PJs for my kiddies, and then people started seeing them, and it started growing from there. But the problem is there's a ceiling of how much one can charge for kiddies' clothes. So because they grow so fast and they ruin them and all of that. And South Africa, it's really expensive to make clothing in South Africa. And I'm sure people watching this do ask, why is South African clothing more expensive? And it's because we don't really have sweatshops here, which is great. We have to import the fabrics, so there's the rand dollar exchange rate. So anyway, so it grew from there. And then my sister said, well, what about going into women? Because, at the end of the day, most women love to buy clothes for ourselves. Even if we have 10 track sets, we'll buy an 11th. So that's where it all kind of started.
And I see it. I was having a good look at your website today. You're quite big into the fabrics and the quality of the fabrics, and what do you really love about that? What sort of excites you about fabrics?
So it's so funny. Like, I never really had much thoughts about fabric and what I wore until I started this business. I didn't know actually the difference between a cotton or a polyester or anything like that. And now being more conscious of it, I mean, also for the environment, I've realized like I don't actually want to in summer run around in a polyester dress because you will sweat your guts out. So it's also been a cool like learning journey. So we do cater for everybody. It's mainly natural fibers, because that's what most people want. We do have the silky sets, which a bunch of people also love, which is great. But I'm one for like the four love languages. I'm like a massive gifter. That's who I am. It makes, and I know this is a business, but it makes me so happy to make other people happy, even though they bought something from me. But I get such a kick when I get a message or something, or like a repeat client, buying something else, or a good review. So I love it that, and I'm sure we've all done it, and we won't mention any sites, but you go onto a site and you buy something that looks amazing, and then you get it and you're like, ooh, it's like, I don't know, parachute material. And I never ever want to deliver anything like that to a client. It's just such a letdown. And so yeah, I'm big into my fabrics. And I will, if we have to repeat something, which we actually very rarely do, other than we say basics range. It's not a basic range. It's just more like what we try always have on. I'm saying bye to next. What we always have on the site and try replenish. But if I can't find that fabric that we've had before, which is top quality, for example, the cotton lycra, then we're not going to make it out of substandard, because that's just not who BENA is. So yeah, I am big into my fabrics, and I must say I've learned a lot, which has been quite fun.
And what motivates you? I mean, I see that you expanded your range. Obviously, you started out with the pajamas and the PJs, but now you've got, like you said, the basics. There's like leggings, tracksuits, there's skirts, there's a whole story there. So what sort of really excites you about your business and growing it? And what does that look like for you?
So for me, so in terms of like the clothing side of it, like I've always been a little bit of a when I say fashionista, like I just love clothes and I love putting stuff together, and I've seemed to have, like, from a young age, been able to put like things quite well together. So it's obviously always been like a bit of a love of mine. And the way we go about planning like new seasons and stuff is actually purely like, oh, I'd love this type of dress and I can't really find it. And, you know, so that's how we come up with type of things, or we get inspiration from something we've seen like in Vogue, and then we like, you know, come up with our own design. So that's kind of how that works. In terms of being motivated in my company, like I said, like I do have a bit of a go-getter attitude, and I am like quite competitive. So I love to like set goals, and like last month's turnover, we're like, no, we got to beat last month's turnover, and like, how are we going to do it? And okay, we're going to do it by like doing a bit of a marketing thing, doing this or whatever, and like just trying new things. I mean, I didn't study marketing, I didn't study clothing, I didn't study fashion design, I didn't do any of this. I did environmental studies and geographical studies, and then I did a postgraduate in enterprise management. So that has come in hugely into the running of the business. But to be honest, like, it's more trial and error. I mean, 7 years of making like a million gazillion mistakes has just been such an amazing learning curve, also an expensive learning curve, but thank goodness we moved through that. But yeah, I must say, like, being on the job is actually the best way to learn and like I to be motivated. Like, yeah, I just also, a massive motivation was COVID. My hubby unfortunately got retrenched, and so that was really like being like putting on my big girl panties and like having to you know, support the family all by myself. So that has been amazing. A huge stress, but also amazing, you know. I never thought I'd be able to support my whole family, you know, I can't do it for extended period, but I have been doing it for a bit, and thank goodness now he's up on his feet again. But yeah, it's been fun.
That's amazing.
And stressful.
Yeah, stressful, but like, wow, that's a really inspiring actually story, you know. And thanks so much for sharing that. And how do you define success? What is that for you?
So for me, I would say, like, the very first bit of success I felt was quite what do you say, materialistic, in terms of like we were started turning a profit, and I could, like, you know, give everybody, well, my you know, myself a small salary, everyone else gets paid properly, and then after that was under the belt, it's more like, you know, the clients, repeat clients, and clients just also saying like, oh, I love this, but what about doing it like this and this, or with this fabric, or changing it up like that? And I love that, you know. It's like people are really thinking and engaged in your business. Then it's repeat clients, then it's client testimonials. I mean, I don't know when last you did it, but I mean, have you sent a brand an email saying, wow, I love your product and it's so amazing and blah, 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 blah? I don't know who has time for that. And I get so many, and I've now, when I love something, I also pay it forward, and now I've taken a page out of my clients' books and replied to that brand to say, wow, well done. So that is a massive pat on the back for me, and I share it with all my team, which is, I think, also great. I think it's so important to share everything with your team, because we are a team. It's not just me. If it was just me, the clothes wouldn't get sewn. So I'm like the overall arching person, but I've got like this amazing team underneath me. So that brings me to my next point, is being able to support my team and their families, and they're mainly all single income families. And especially through COVID, I mean, I was really proud of us that we could push through that, and no one was laid off, no one was put on half salary or anything like that. We managed to pay everyone throughout COVID, which was awesome. I did write something down. I did have one more. Oh, one more was, which really warms my heart, is seeing people out and about in like a BENA outfit. Like you are like, wow, this is so cool. I'm like, I'm sending them all out, but I don't actually see, you know, it's just because it's online, you don't actually see the people in the clothing. And my best is when my kiddies come to me and they're like, Mom, we've just seen someone and they were in a BENA track, and like, did you give it to them? I said, no, my babes, I sold it to them. And that's just wonderful. And I think it's so important, especially in this day and age where life is so expensive, school is so expensive, everything, that both parents are working and not that I'm not saying all parents have to work, but I'm saying for us, it's important for my little kids to see, you know, like mommy and daddy working hard so that we can send them to school and buy them a nice birthday present and stuff. So makes me happy that they are so engaged in my business and they're part of it. I mean, I like work from home. They're always up here playing while it's like, you know, if we're online schooling, it's a dog show. We're juggling. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it's more an emotional side of the success, not really like measurables.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting because I think when you start out on this entrepreneurial journey, you really cling initially to the more materialistic side, because it's just like, wow, this is proof of concept. People are actually doing this thing. They're buying, you know, they're buying into it. But then as you sort of go along that journey, you're like, wow, this actually feels really good. Feels really good to be able to support my team. It feels really good to be like, you know, sharing these values with my family and things like that. So that's really cool. That makes a lot of sense. And in terms of your like daily operations, like what are some of the challenges that you face?
So currently, I mean, the challenges that I hope will go away very soon, but I doubt it. But currently it's COVID, you know, the constant stop and start of levels and whether they, you know, we can get our staff to work and whether they're sick or any of that. Load shedding is the worst for us, because I think what a lot of people don't realize, like load shedding is like, you know, you can't watch TV and you can't microwave your food, but we can't actually sew when there's load shedding. And for some reason, our factories in Woodstock, and it gets hit so hard. It's more, you know, Joburg gets 4 hours of load shedding, which is terrible. We get 2 hours, but for some reason down in Woodstock, it gets 4 hours. So yeah, that's a big one, because we can't actually get the stock out, and then it's just a waste of money because we're still paying staff. Work-life balance is quite a big one, which I've obviously I don't have down pat, but like I've said before, like I've matured. I feel like I've matured a lot, and I feel like COVID has also helped me see life differently. Like, you know, I was always just like, and now it's like, no, you actually have to stop and smell the roses and enjoy it, or grieve, or just feel what you feel. So yeah, I feel that sorry, I've got a bit stuck now. I feel, so with the kiddies, like the other day I was horrified. We were driving somewhere on a Sunday, and my hubby said, oh guys, if there's anything everyone could do right now, what would be your favorite thing to do? And everyone said their thing. And then my daughter said, well, I know what mommy would do. Mommy would just sit in her office all day long and work for BENA, because that's her favorite thing. And I was like, oh my goodness, is that what you think, that I love BENA, you know, more than you guys? So that was a proper good paradigm shift for me, to be more present. And like, don't take BENA so seriously. Like I find, so another main big challenge, which I've also matured over, is social media. And even though I'm a brand and I'm not an influencer, so I can't even imagine what influencers get, but you really get some nasty people out there, and I don't know what I don't know if people call them trolls or something, but yeah, just like really like nasty, and they put you down, and they've always got something to nitpick at, you know. So once you've like, okay, cool, thank you so much for sharing with me, we'll take this on board, and we'll do better in the future, and we'll implement this and this and this, and then you're like, cool, and you're like, oh, chuffed, okay, it's happy now. And then there's another one, you're like, oh goodness, like, oh. So it's just always like, what next are you going to tear me apart about? And that's the thing, it's not me. That's what I've realized. And they're not tearing me apart, but because BENA is me, and she's like one of my children, I take it personally. So I must say COVID, I think, was hard because people were very obviously frustrated, stressed, anxious. So their way of lashing out or trying to get rid of their, you know, stress was being nasty to other people, I guess. So that was quite hectic. I was in a lot of tears many nights with that, but yeah, I've grown a thicker skin, and then that's also, I guess, a learning curve. So that's quite a big one, which I really struggled with because I'm quite a sensitive person. And just, I think keeping up with changes. I mean, I know this whole conversation is probably about COVID, but what COVID has taught me and the team is that, like, I mean, COVID's bizarre. Like, did we ever think a pandemic would hit the world like this and just turn everything upside down? And I'm hoping there's nothing else on the horizon that could do anything to this, but we can't even think of it because we don't even know, we didn't even know that this pandemic could exist. So just being on top of, like, always be one step ahead. We were so lucky when we went into the very first lockdown. I mean, we never are on time. We never get our collection out on time, have our production out on time, have our marketing stuff, have our photo shoot. It's just too much. So we always like a little bit lagging behind from our own goals. I mean, you guys don't see it, but from us. But thank goodness we were so on top of it, because when lockdown hit, we'd already, I mean, that was the 26th of March. We already had all our winter stock. We had done our shoot. We had the images. I mean, it was unbelievable. So we thrived. We actually grew by 400% through those first few months, which was, yeah, it was amazing. And we're just so grateful and thankful. So yeah, that was a big one. So another challenge, the challenge, and I've learned from, is just, you never know what's going to come your way. So don't like have anxiety over it or whatever, but rather just be prepared and just try to be one step ahead, so that when SH1T does hit the fan, you like grounded and you're okay and you'll stay, you'll weather the storm kind of thing.
Totally. No, that makes so much sense. Well, there was a lot of good stuff in there. That was yeah, because I think there's like your operational stuff, but then there's also your emotional challenges and your boundaries, and learning how to create space and not to take it all on board, because I think that it just eats away at your mental capacity as well to cope with everything that's on your plate. So yeah, I'm glad that you're feeling stronger and realizing that yeah, you're doing obviously an incredible job, and 400% is tremendous. So congratulations through these really, really trying times. And what about some words of wisdom for budding entrepreneurs out there?
So yeah, just, try, like, the amount of tears and sweat shed over this company in the last 7 years is like astronomical. So I just feel like if you have an idea and you have a passion over something and you believe in it so much and so hard, you can, like, you'll get blow after blow and you'll be like, oh my goodness, when is this ever going to come right? But just try harder, start again, try a million times over, because if you believe that much, it will come right. And life isn't easy, and it takes a long time to turn a profit. Like, I think I read a book once, was 3 to 5 years, and it's a long time to sustain yourself, or if you live at home or with your partner or anything. So be upright and honest with them, and say, listen, like, I'm going to have to put in X amount of bucks. We're going to have to like surf it for a long time. Can you support me? Because it did get a little bit like intense when my hubby was like, okay, but yeah, this is all cool, but when is BENA going to start turning? Like, so I think, yeah, just open honesty with your family and your partners, and then get buy-in from them, because it's really hard to slog all by yourself and like not really have much support. But yeah, like, if you know in your heart that it's going to work, then just try again, and don't get despondent when you keep getting hurdles thrown your way.
Totally. I remember hearing something that said, like, rejection is just redirection, so on
That's
the
a good one.
sort of be like, okay, cool, well, this has not really landed the way I thought, but I'm just going to pivot and be like a bit light on my toes here and take it on board. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I like the way you condense, like, I talk so much and then you condense everything so beautifully. You should be like my spokesperson.
Well, thank you. Do you have any anecdotes you want to share, or is there any interesting story that you'd like to share with us before we close, or any experiences you've had?
Not really. My anecdote was the one about just work-life balance, and my daughter just saying, like, I just want to work the whole time. So that was I kind of I told that story already. But yeah, just from the top of my head, just be light on your feet, carry on, Trojan ahead, and you can make it work. And yeah, like, I don't know, just believe in yourself. Like, everyone has great talent inside them. It just needs to be realized. And you know what, like also, like I think what you said, like rejection, that's such a good one. Rejection, like rather just redirect. That's a really good one to remember. And I think we've done that actually in a way where we've been rejected by, you know, it's a style or something, but people like it in a certain way, so we rework it. Or yeah, and anything really, like in marketing, for example, like marketing is huge. If you don't market your business, that's what my dad actually always taught me. You don't market your business, you've got nothing. So you've got to spend money to make money, and that's so hard in the beginning when you think about it, because you're like, okay, but I don't have money to spend. But if you don't spend money, no one's going to actually know about your product or who you are or whatever you're doing, like influencer or whatever. So you need to invest in that, then to be able to get a return. So yeah, that's my little anecdote for the day.
No, I love that. Exactly. You've got to make yourself visible, I suppose. Otherwise, who knows that you're even out there with all your awesome stuff. But Xan, thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. That was really inspiring. And yeah, I appreciate your time. And I look forward to finding myself a beautiful set of PJs soon. So
thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to see the other brands you guys are interviewing.
Yeah, no, me too. We'll look out for them this month. But have a beautiful day. Chat to you soon.
Thanks so much. Thanks. Bye.